Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The subject of the discourse today is how to change the mind. And to be able to change the mind, we must know the mind. Unless we have a very clear idea of what the mind is and how it functions, how it works under different circumstances, how it is influenced or how it can be built anew, how its very nature can be changed, unless we know the nature of the mind itself, we cannot bring about a change. And I mean by change, a change from this negative state of mind to a very positive state of mind. From an evil state of mind to a good state of mind. From a mundane state of mind to a super mundane state of mind. That is what I mean by change. And this change is possible. And all the teachings of the Buddha relate to this. You can easily describe the teachings of the Buddhism, as the science of mind. Nothing but that. That being the case, anyone who seeks enlightenment, meaning a discovery of ultimate truth about life, about the world around, and by discovering the ultimate nature of life and world, that is, by discovering the ultimate truth about this, we can completely change life itself. Life which is now completely enslaved by greed, hatred and delusion, and thereby become enslaved by karma, which are motivated by greed, hatred and delusion, and thereby keep on being reborn again and again. So the connection between a state of mind, then an action, karma, then a destiny, rebirth. These three things must be clearly understood. Then only we will know what the nature of mind is and how to change the mind from a negative state to the positive. A mind which can be influenced, for instance, by greed or by hatred or by egotism or jealousy or delusion, or a mind which is influenced by non-greed, which does not mean absence of greed, but the presence of a positive quality like charity, generosity, dana, which removes greed, which makes an end of greed. So non-greed, though it is put in a negative form, in negative terminology, but it's really the most positive. This negative itself is positive. Now, so the mind which is influenced, let us say, or affected by greed, behaves in a certain way. How? First of all, it goes on searching for things, wanting things, coveting things. There is no end to it, craves for things, or pleasures, enjoyment, or possessions. Now, as soon as the mind is affected by greed, these are the things that happen. So wanting, craving, seeking, you see, all these are mental states. And they are not only mental states as a psychological state of mind, but they are also actions. Mental action. Action is threefold. Kayena, Vachaya, Manasa. Bodily action, that is as deed, verbal action as speech, and mental action as thought. Thinking, imagining, planning, trying to grab, all these things are mental actions. Now, whether it's a mental action or verbal action or bodily action, they're actions. And actions arise from mind. It is mind which produces these actions, and therefore is influenced by these actions in turn, and thus through the creation of the action it creates one's destiny. That is one's future. What one will be here and now, how one is going to enjoy happiness or misery, or a bad fortune or a good fortune, or a good circle of friends or a bad circle of friends. All these are created ultimately by mind, in the sense that through mind actions are produced and actions create destiny. This is as far as this here and now, and then actions also create the future, the hereafter. What you are going to be in the future, how you are going to be born in the future, in your next life, what you will be, how your destiny will be, how your whole, the entire living, everything will be something very different. How that happens should be clearly understood. And everything therefore depends upon mind. So our future, our destiny depends upon how we act now, and how we act now depends upon what kind of mental state we have. So if you want to change your mind, it simply means you want to change your destiny by changing your actions, particularly intentional actions. It is not very easy to change one's actions unless one trains oneself in such a way that one can change the pattern of actions. And this training, in order to change the actions, depends upon how you train your mind. Now, training of the mind means changing the mind. This must be clearly understood. Last time I mentioned about how to change the mind by way of a particular program. For instance, you get up in the morning, first thing in the morning, and before you are influenced by anything else, as soon as you wake up, you familiarize yourself. You make it a habit to utter, let us say, some people utter some mantram, and let us say some people, you can call it mantra or whatever you like, some words which are empowered by certain mental states. You say, may I be free from enmity. May I never harbor any thought of enmity, or in any form I harbor no hostility towards anybody. May I have no enemy, free from enemies. That means, may I have friends. And to have friends, I must be friendly. to have no enemy, I must have non-enmity in my mind. So you repeat the mantra, Avero Bhavami, may I become Avero. That means Avaira. Vaira means enmity, hostility. Now when you say, for this whole day today, may I have no ill will, no anger, no thought of hate, hitting somebody back, being very harsh to somebody, and getting completely out of control and temper, losing your temper, emotionally completely upset. May I not have any of these negative qualities of mind. May my mind be free from all this. And when the mind is free, the mind from anger, from ill will, from hostility, from enmity of any kind, the mind will not suffer. Mind suffers only when the mind is upset by anger, by hatred, by enmity, by prejudice. Now, for instance, if you are a member of a political party, or if you support the program of a party in a certain way, now the program says, well, I'm going to destroy the other party, or the program of the other party, or those people who support that party. As soon as you have made yourself, put yourself into this position as a member of that political party, supporter of the political party, your mind is colored by the political program, by the ideology of the political party, by the outlook of the political, the politicians who dominate the political party. Completely colored. So basically, the nature of the mind, let us say, is something like a white, clean sheet of cloth. Clean sheet of cloth, white cloth, without any spot, without any color, no dyeing, nothing. So now this mind, when it comes in contact or when it is influenced by certain mental factors. What do I mean by mental factors? Something that goes together with the mind. Mental concomitants, they are known as chetasika. Mind is known as chitta. So when this chitta, which is by nature, by its very pure nature, is like a clean sheet of paper, unspoiled, unspotted, untarnished. And when you meditate, what are you trying to do? To go back to this original state of mind. Just that. You cleanse the mind of all mental states or mental concomitants, influencing factors of the concomitants. You see. You completely clean it up. And when the mind is clean and pure, the mind goes up at a higher level. Your mind changes from a state from a lower level to a higher level. This is the aim of meditation. So now changing the mind in its original form, and when it is in its own, the mind is like a clean sheet of cloth, pure, bright and luminous. Now when this mind, this bright mind, is influenced by, let us say, greed, it becomes dyed. When the cloth is dyed red or black or green or yellow or whatever is the dye, the nature of the white cloth is gone. Its whole significance is lost. It is no more white. It becomes something very, very different indeed. It changes in its quality, it changes in every way, in its value, in its significance. It stands for a certain, it becomes a symbol for something else. The white cloth it symbolizes purity, being clean, a clean life. An upasaka and upasika comes to the temple on a Sunday to hear the Dhamma with a white cloth, putting on white dress. He comes symbolizing to keep the mind white, clean, pure. Now you put on some other color, well, this attitude will not be there. So now, just as a color can change the nature of the white cloth and get completely its value, its significance, everything. When the mind is changed by those associates of mind, known as mental factors, cetasika. Say greed, I gave an example. Immediately you become greedy and avaricious and grabby and all the time thinking about getting something out of somebody. You become a greedy person, you become a, let us say, a corrupt official, a corrupt doctor, a corrupt minister. My goodness, the whole world is affected in a very miserable way. They affect everybody. A corrupt man corrupts other people. All moral values are gone. Charity, generosity, loving kindness, compassion, all these noble qualities are dashed, so to say, on a stone. They have all simply gone. You have the animal quality of one who just grabs, accumulates, eats and swallows. What a change. If the mind is affected by, let us say, by the mental factor called dosa, hatred, hate or anger, krodha, the mind is completely changed into that of a demon. You become demoniacal, so to say. You can kill your father, your mother, your wife, your son, your husband, when you are affected by dosa. And when you are affected by delusion, you become like a dumb creature. Nothing enters your head. You can't understand anything. Or you have all kinds of delusions, things which are not there, you imagine that they are there. When there is really no such thing as soul, you say, there is a big soul somewhere, sitting there. What do you mean by that? You are only thinking of some mental state. What you call soul or self or ego or I, what does it mean? When you talk of soul, you are talking of ego. When you are talking of self, Atman, what I call it, Paramatman or whatever name you may give, what it boils down to, think deeply. It boils down to I-ness, which means egotism. You are thinking of yourself to be big or small or equal, or it belongs to you. You are thinking of owning something. You said, this body is mine. Okay? That means you are owning the body. Do you really own it? Just think deeply. Keep the mind free from all ideological, religious, theological, all these beliefs. Just be objective and think clearly and rightly. You will see when you say this body is me, what do you mean? When you have got a pain in the body somewhere, you say, my back is paining. So you mean that pain is I. Or when you put on a lot of snow and powder and try to make yourself look very nice and so-called beauty and whatnot. You say, that's me? What is that? All that snow powder and color, all the stuff that you have put on and your dress, you are meaning that is you. It boils down to that. So now this body, if it is yours really, then you own it, and if you are a owner, you should be able to do whatever you like with the body. You say, okay, I am 20 years old. I want to look like my father who is 50, so that my father will not boss me. You have got an idea that the father bosses you, which is nonsense, which may not be true. But because of your own egotism, you imagine that the father is bossing you. This is how the mind cheats you all the time when it is affected by egotism. And when this ego is glorified into a religious doctrine of soul and self and Atman and whatnot, but that's finished, that's the end of it. The mind gets enslaved by this idea, and that idea, you see, creates actions. When you own your body, you own your family, own your possessions, own your home, all this owning, and when you die, carry nothing with yourself. All these are left behind. You only carry a bundle of karmic forces created by this notion of an I. Let us say at the last moment of your life, you are so attached. Now when you have greed, you naturally create attachment. Greed automatically brings about attachment. You cling to what you want. Attachment means just that. When you crave for something, when you want something, desire something, then you hold on to it. You cling to it, and that is attachment. So when you get attached to a thing, automatically you commit a karma, a mental karma. That means you hold on to it as mine. It is mine. This is my husband, my wife, my son, my daughter, my home, my this, my that. So when by having this idea of mineness, I-ness, you have ended up creating all kinds of karmas. Karma means what? It simply means a potency. Last time we mentioned that you have, let's say, a mango tree. Mango tree has a potency, a capacity, a capability of producing fruits, of bearing mango fruits. Good. Now when there is no mango fruit, let us say, the season is over, now can you say that this tree has no potency, it cannot bear any mango fruit anymore? No. It will bear in the right time. But somehow you are a cynic and you say you are a scientist. So you go and try to find out where that potency is. You start with, let us say, the leaf and try to find out in your little scientific laboratory, your microscope and whatnot, all those gadgets you have accumulated, with the hope that you will increase your knowledge about the tree. Where is that power in that leaf? Nowhere. You cut the leaf into bits or take the juice out of it. Nowhere. That juice does not produce the mango. Then you go and cut the tree itself, then go into the root, and everywhere you find no such thing as potency or power. Power is not something that you can see or you can hear or you can taste. No. Potency is a matter of, it is not within the five senses. Only its result can be seen. Result can be perceived by the senses or the mind, not the potency itself. So karma has a potency. The potency means it is capable of giving a result. Here and now in this life, you go and you are affected by anger. Go and abuse somebody. What happens? That somebody in return also abuses you. Then this abusing mutually ends up in fistication, punching each other's nose. Then that ends up into enmity. You harbor that ill will and anger and hate. So that you repeat that again and again and again and again. Harboring means repetition of the same thing. So a karma, when you do a karma, you don't end up in that. No. You create a cycle so that you keep on repeating the same pattern again, again and again. Now as you keep on doing that, you are creating a karmic force, a potency, which is capable of producing results here in the form of repeat the whole thing again. And what you can't repeat anymore here, you carry that potency with you when you die. So when you are born, now some child, you see the little babies, you give the baby a little sweet, you simply grab and don't allow anybody to touch that thing. Or if somebody touches, he will bawl out and cry and get very angry. And why? From where is this tendency coming? Anger and bawling out and grabbing. This is a little baby. He's just born. From where has it come? Has some God created this? You impute, yes, God has created man and babies and all that sort of thing. Well, God has other better things to do. We have not manufacturing babies. You manufacture babies, not your God. But this belief in a God creator creates all this kind of thing, and then you say you own it, then you say it is my baby. And then when the baby behaves in a rotten way, you go and slap it. Not at that moment. Let the baby grow a little more. And the baby, once the baby grows and does not listen to you, you give a slap. And why? The baby has brought all that anger from the past. All that negative quality of becoming angry or having hate or having enmity. So the potency does not end only in this life, it is carried further. And if a person becomes too angry, too hateful, too this, too that, that person is going to be born, is not going to be born in the human plane at all. Human plane is Sugati. It's a happy plane of existence. Anger brings suffering here and now. When you are angry, you cry, you are mentally suffering. Even that little baby suffers mentally. So if you now want to change your mind, you have to change your action. You have to change everything. So first thing in the morning, last time we mentioned about, let us say, you get up in the morning and you start with this may I be free from anger and hatred and ill will and envy, and thereby free from any kind of mental suffering. And by freeing myself from any kind of mental suffering, I will be happy. I will be well disposed towards everybody. When I am happy, I make everybody happy. How? Now when I am well disposed, positively disposed to everybody, because I am happy, cheerful. So make the other person also happy. You smile at the other person person also smiles back. Here and now, a deed of smiling is a deed, is a physical, bodily action, and it creates a reaction which is also bodily happy reaction. So a person who says, I will have no enemy at all. So now formally you had an enemy, because you followed a certain political ideology or some cultural prejudice against some community or caste or whatever. Now you say, no, nobody is my enemy. You never used to be your enemy in the past, for some reason or other. Now you say, no, I will smile at him. I will smile at her. You see, that person also smiles back. And then you say, hello, how do you do? How are you? Chanagirira? You say that. Kaisa hai ji? Acha hai? You see the reaction. The person say, oh, fine, my dear, how are you? This is how the mind changes. You start with, in the morning, may I not have any enemy. May I be happy and make everybody happy. This is called metta. Practicing universal love. Now you have this metta every morning, then in the afternoon and in the evening. Keep on just what this one little mantram. If you call it a mantra anyway, it simply means empowering yourself with a word. The word itself is empowered. When you say, may I be happy, may I not hurt anybody, may I make everybody be happy. And your whole day changes. So by changing your mind, you are changing your day. Changing your mind, you are changing your action. By changing your action pattern, now you say, may I be free from anger and hate and this and that, and may I not suffer mentally in any way, may I not be sad, let us say. When you are angry or hateful, you are mentally suffering. What is that suffering? It is called state of mental depression. Domanasa. You are mentally sad, depressed, melancholic, antipathetic. The opposite of sympathy. So now, mental depression, or the idea of depression, let us say, just take it in an economic sense. You say, now there is depression, economic depression. What does it mean? No productivity, no job, and the people can't buy anything, they lose their buying power. They lose their job. So the whole life gets depressed because of economic depression. Or let's say that weather depression. Somewhere in the Bay of Bengal, that area is depressed somewhere. It creates a terrible cyclone and rain and storm and all that, and the weather for days together depressed. And it depresses your mind. Whole day the sky is covered, no sun, nothing. depressed weather and depressed mind. You feel miserable because the weather pattern is very bad. So now imagine, when the mind is angry like the depressed Bay of Bengal, it is full of storm and all that, that is anger. It's like anger, as though the sea is angry. So it lets go all the storm and rain and horrible things. So this is exactly what happens with anger and hate and such negative qualities. So mind by nature is white, like a white clean piece of cloth. But when that anger, dosa as a mental factor influences it, it agrees the quality of a demon, gets the quality of a tiger. So if you become, you see, if you allow the mind to be influenced by anger and hate and prejudice and all that, it's quite likely you will be born as a tiger. He's angry all the time. His tummy is full, it has eaten a big animal, but if it sees a little rabbit, goes and pounces on it out of anger. So you have created your destiny, or you are born in the Asura Loka, one of the demons. This is not just a theory, it's a reality. Change your mind and you change your destiny. Change your mind, you change your action pattern. And you change your action. What you do now, that will determine what you will be in your next karma. This is plain truth. This is not a theory. So in Buddhism, law of karma we say. We don't say theory of karma or belief in karma. No. It's a law. It works on its own. It is sovereign by itself. Like the mango tree, it works on its botanical law. It produces the fruit in time. Whether you get that potency in your laboratory or not is a different matter. Nobody cares about it. You leave the tree alone from all your so-called science and your inquisitive, cynical ways, and you see in the time now the tree bears fruit. So you may say, I don't believe in karma. Oh no, nonsense, I cannot find it. How do I know that I am going to be born in next life? How do I prove it? You say, my religion doesn't believe in karma, doesn't believe in rebirth. Whether the religion believes or not, it makes no difference whatsoever. You have acted with hatred due to your religious beliefs, and you land yourself in the land among the demons, not among the gods or the human beings. Because anger is demoniacal quality. This mental factor, demoniacal mental factor of anger or hatred, which causes so much suffering to your own mind and suffering to the entire country. Due to hate and enmity, you undertake all kinds of horrible deeds. You become a terrorist. You kill yourself with a bomb and kill 100 people with that bomb with yourself, with the belief that you are going somewhere in heaven. No, you are going in hell. That is the truth. Because your mind is a hellish mind. So if you want to change your mind, you can change by knowing the mind, not by believing something, some ideology, some theism, some theoretical doctrine. None of those. Know it directly by discovering your own nature. And that means, when you know the mind, it means the mind in its original form is clean, good. And you can discover it. You meditate, free the mind from all influences. You see the mind is clean, calm, peaceful, uninfluenced by either the internal mental factors or by the external influences of the society, of the culture, of the religion, of anything, of political party. It's as simple as that, my dear. You want to change your mind, know your mind. You want to know your mind, then meditate. If you want to be successful in meditation, you have to now take up some discipline for it. And the first discipline is the way mind acts. So have control over your action. Take the Panchashila, the 5 principles, universally valid. The first one means no killing, but protecting all life. No destruction of life. No making other people, no hating, no enmity, but love. Love that is pure. Love that is unselfish. Love that is not untainted by raga, by sensuality, by lust, by attachment. That love, that is universal love. Practice it. The mind completely changes. And practicing does not mean a huge big thing. There is no theatrical performance here. Quietly go. When you are awake, just tell yourself, may I not be hateful. May I be loving. May I not suffer by myself, by mind, so by hating. And when I am happy in that way, I make the world happy. And if there are more people who practice this universal love, the world will become a paradise. You see the divine world here. That is the truth. Truth is not in the book. Truth is in you. You have to discover that. Practice meditation. May the grace of Bhagavan Buddha surround your life with metta, abundant love, pure love, unselfish love. May you all be happy. Sukhino bhavantu.